like yesterday, for instance, my husband had a work-related event at a basketball at Staples Center, and so we went and we got to sit in the Herbalife skybox, which was really exciting for the kids, and I too. I enjoyed it too. But just living life and seeing how other people work. And it was funny because there was this one mom there that was asking me, very mainstream mom, not AP, very mainstream. In fact, she was from Germany, so just very, one way, things are done one way and that's it. But she was very much asking me questions about homeschooling, and one of the things that made me laugh, she asked kind of about socialization, and I'm thinking, my kids are here playing with your kids, aren't they? It's just kind of funny, It's like, my kids, they get more socialization than kids in school, I would say. We're everywhere.
Yeah. They're not stuck with just their peer group.
Right, and their age
kids
group.
Are interacting with younger kids. Different genders are interacting. They're getting great adult interaction from family members, older family members. Really wonderful.
And they have time to socialize. They're not busy doing 4 hours of homework.
It's beautiful. My kids can go from talking to adults to talking to babies, and be totally comfortable in both situations.
We recently had a situation last Wednesday at Dragon Tree Park where a student from Long Beach University, CSU, Long Beach, came over and said, "What kind of group is this? These kids are really different. I've not seen kids interact like this before." And she was a sociology student, so she came from this scientific background where it was almost like she had a clipboard and a pencil, and she was taking notes on this unique social group. And she really did comment on how the kids were all getting along, and they were doing very unique things. Like some of our kids go up the slide the wrong way, and we don't worry about it. And they come up with really interesting things. I always like to say that unschooled kids really know how to play. They're really allowed to explore their world. And kids just flock to them. School kids flock to them. The sociology student was really interested in them. So.
Right. It's kind of like the continuum concept. If anybody's familiar with that, it's just it's very very organic and very natural. Not to say that our kids never have problems within their interactions.
That's human nature.
We're there to help our kids navigate relationships, though. That's why our kids are different, I would say, too, is that we get to go and help them. If they're having a problem with one of their friends, we can be right there to help them. And you know what? In a school environment or a teaching environment, that's like traditional in the box, they don't have time for 30 students to go to each one individually and to help, each one navigate relationships, let alone trying to, make everyone behave or whatever they see is conducive to learning. Which, in our world is just totally foreign. And that's the thing with unschooling, it's acting as if school does not exist. So it's, a totally different world. Totally different world.
Does anyone have any questions for them?
Tell us, what you would do, what you just don't have the time to make that.
Right.
Day you do something different. Can you tell us what a day that you had recently would be like?
Sure.
So a day you've had recently?
Yeah, if we have an activity to go to in the morning or something, like yesterday, we had to be at Staples Center at noon. So we were up, I set the alarm, which we usually don't do, but we did, if we have somewhere to go, we do. We wake up and we'll get ready and we'll go. Like last week, our park day is on Wednesdays that we go to with all the other unschooled families. And so for that, I try to be there at least by 11:30 or noon. So we do try to wake up early that day. So we get up, we have breakfast. I usually make sandwiches. Sometimes we stop, on the way.
Afternoon. But my 5-year-old wakes up early. So I wake up with him.
Right.
I try to wake up before him. And I do a lot of exposure for him at a young age. So we might spend the morning while the older kids are sleeping. I'll bring out Legos, I'll bring out Kapla blocks, I'll bring out marbles. I'll try and sort of set up and put out lots of great toys and things for him to play with, or have the paints ready, or make homemade Play-Doh. And so we have this organic, unstructured time together, and then usually by the time my older kids wake up, we have to get on to our activities. We're very busy. We have lots of classes. My kids take soccer, they do dance, hip hop class. My older son took a writing class recently, writing stories, and that was something he wanted to do on his own. A lot of the classes we take are organized by other homeschoolers, so the time is negotiated at a time that works for everyone. And then we sit down for dinner every night as a family, and then the evening probably looks something like your evening. We read stories, watch a movie.
Right. Sometimes we do that in the day too.
Sometimes we do that in
it
the
just
day.
depends.
And then we have days where we've been so busy with all these activities that no one gets out of their pajamas. And, we just, eat fruit and nuts and watch our favorite movie.
Right.
So
and talk about it.
Flexibility to do that.
Right. I mean, every opportunity is learning,
What about, are there any legal issues? Do you ever file anything with them?
In California, it depends on the state. In California, there's a private school option that most of us go under, and that gives us a lot more freedom. We have to file once a year in October a private school affidavit. You
Because
go
private
online.
schools don't fall under the same regulations that public schools do.
Yeah.
So if you're a private school, you don't have to worry about all the state mandated testing.
Right.
You kind of do your own thing.
Right.
So as a homeschooler being a private school,
It's easier. Now, some of us
There are
are
charter
in
schools.
charters, the unschoolers. It's a little more challenging though, because if you aren't into the testing thing, you sometimes have to do the testing with charters. That's why a lot of us don't choose to go that route, but some do.
usually not until second grade.
Right. But
What are the reasons for going charter or going not? Because we don't want to do the testing.
Right.
So why would you do?
a lot of people
lot of
do
it's
the
financial.
charter because you
Okay.
get money to take classes and stuff. To me, I don't
do
need,
a-
I don't want that or need that,
Yes,
and I
semester
would.
dependence.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But some people, they like to have the financial help. With
So
it.
could you not do any testing if you chose?
I think it'd be really hard.
Well,
not
we
to.
did a charter for 2 years.
Well, no, without a charter. So if you chose to not do a charter,
Right.
you don't have to do testing.
Oh,
No, no, you don't.
Not at all.
No, I mean, a lot of people end up. Because people will say, "Well, what about tests later?"
Right.
Well,
then you
a
just
lot of
study
times,
for them.
yeah, they study. There's study books for like the SATs,
Right,
and there's study
exactly.
books for all the college entrance exams.
Yeah,
So you just help your child with it. They have to take a driver's license test if they're gonna. They're gonna eventually have to take a test. It's not like they're never gonna ever take a test,
But if you're not into that testing,
but if you're not following the timeline of the schools, your kids should be reading by when they get into kindergarten, they should be able to read a little bit. It's
You
not
know.
you know that you're okay with your child reading at a later time when they're ready.
Oh,
I mean, maybe your child is ready and maybe your child is reading and that's fine, but a lot of us, that's the thing with this, you allow your child to learn at their own pace. So if they're not
really
ready,
a journey. It
Right.
really is a journey as a parent because you've got the whole mainstream world telling you. In the UK, kids are supposed to read coming out of preschool.
Right.
They're going into kindergarten.
here
as,
too, actually, in
well,
Santa Monica,
it's
one of
becoming more and more strict.
right,
here.
they want you to read it by 5.
So
The
your
kids go-
your job is to look at your child, and if you're an unschooler, if you're not, don't listen to this. But to look at your child and say, hey, my child is writing the letters and wants to know the alphabet. So as an unschooler, I don't keep my child from that. I will bring out the little letter magnets and we'll read stories together with me sounding things out if he wants. But then on the other hand, I have an 8.5-year-old child who isn't reading. And my job with him, it's a harder job. I have to look at the world outside and know all the pressure that they're putting on my child isn't going to matter. He's not going to learn to read
And not
until he's
every
ready.
child learns to read the same way. Sometimes phonics works
so
great
different.
for some
Sometimes
kids, but
just-
some do not get the phonics thing. Because, a lot of our words are not spelled phonetically. They're a different, you have to memorize
It's a
the words. So it
combination
can
of
be,
sight words and
right.